Welcome to the White Knight Theater. The court has decided to make a ruling, allowing the prosecution to submit evidence obtained during the search of Rockingham. When our store clerk was organizing the purchase records, it was discovered that OG had purchased a stiletto folding knife 6 weeks ago, before Nicole was killed. The Los Angeles Police Department's assistant medical examiner, Dr. Owen Gall, confirmed that the knife previously purchased by the police matched the standards of the murder weapon used to kill Nicole and Goldman. The mystery of the murder weapon has come to light. Was O.J. Simpson's previous claim of innocence truly a meticulously designed, brilliant drama? What is the most dramatic element? The answer lies in a frame of a blurry video footage. Produced by Himalaya, the 15th episode of the Chinese-American detective Dr. Lee Chong-Yu's crime drama. The mystery of the murder weapon derived from video footage. Prosecutor Marcia, is the stiletto folding knife truly the murder weapon used by O.J.? Prosecutor Marcia, why didn't the prosecution release information about the murder weapon before? Was the murder weapon never found until the knife store owner provided a clue, prompting the investigation to begin? Did the prosecution truly fulfill their duties before? Prosecutor Clark, please answer our questions. He said, firstly, we have been diligently searching for the murder weapon used to kill Nicole and Goldman and have encouraged the public to provide us with more clues. Therefore, the clue provided by the knife store owner is also a result of our efforts. We have never given up searching for the murder weapon. Secondly, we have already purchased the same model of folding knife from the knife store and handed it over to the medical examiner. The medical examiner will determine the match between the wounds and the folding knife. The results are not yet available, but if they are, we will certainly make them public. Thank you all for your attention to this clue. All right, that's it. Once the clue about the suspected murder weapon emerged, various media outlets competed to report on it to gain maximum traffic. Dr. Lee Chong-Yu, who was in Seattle, also kept an eye on the developments by watching media reports. Today, the prosecution announced that, according to Dr. Owen Gall of the LAPD, the previously purchased stiletto folding knife met the standards of the murder weapon used to kill Nicole and Goldman. O.J. Simpson had purchased the same type of knife 6 weeks ago. The latest news is that prosecutor Marcia Clark immediately applied for a second search in the vicinity of Rockingham after learning about the knife. Currently, the LAPD is deploying a large number of officers to search for the target knife. At the same time, the LAPD welcomes tips from the general public. At this stage of the case, for most Americans, the fact that O.J. Simpson is the murderer seems almost certain. How small is the probability of such a coincidence for someone who is already considered a major suspect to have purchased a knife identical to the murder weapon just before the crime? But, like many incredible things in this case, there's also a story behind the discovery of the murder weapon. Hello. This is Dr. Lee Chong-Yu speaking. Bad news. The prosecution has found the murder weapon used to kill Nicole. Found it. I was just watching the news, and they said it hadn't been found yet. The broadcast must have been from the afternoon script. Earlier, I got the news that a police officer found the folding knife O.J. bought in a trash can 2 blocks away from Rockingham. There was still a bit of dried blood on it, and the serial number provided by the knife store owner matches. What about the batch number? I remember he suddenly, Dr. Lee, we need you to come back as soon as possible to review and authenticate this piece of evidence. If this evidence is true, I've already considered a strategy for involuntary manslaughter. Oh, wait a minute. Don't be so hasty. I have no problem returning to Los Angeles, but everything is not yet settled. I'll first see if I can find a breakthrough based on the existing materials. Doctor, I'll leave it to you then. We'll contact you if there are any new developments. After Dr. Lee Chong-Yu hung up the phone, he immediately started searching through the materials on his desk. Dr. Liu, what's wrong? What are you looking for? A police officer found a folding knife in a trash can, and it matches the model and serial number of the knife O.J. bought. But I remember seeing this knife somewhere. Yeah, the situation is a bit tricky now. I need to go through the materials again. Oh, Sam, help me get all the current materials out. Sure, Dr. Lee. But with so many materials, we're probably in for an all-nighter. Would you like me to make you some tea to keep you going? Given the current situation, I'm already wide awake without any external help. The sky was gradually brightening. The time was getting closer for Shapiro to hold a defense team meeting to decide on the strategy of involuntary manslaughter. Or rather, the time was getting closer for Shapiro to give up on Simpson. Dr. Lee, how much longer do you need to look? It's past 5, and it's almost dawn. Haven't we already seen the video footage of the LAPD entering OJ's residence? Dr. Lee, Sam, we finally found it. Look at the video. I was right. This folding knife was in OJ's cabinet. Goodness, it was hidden so deep. Hello, this is Robert Shapiro speaking. The knife currently being claimed as the murder weapon is problematic. I found where the knife OJ bought is located. I'll fax you the materials in a bit. Found it. That's great. So, the folding knife that the police officer found earlier in the trash can is not the murder weapon. Yes, it's very likely. Because when the police first entered OJ's house, the knife was in the cabinet, and now it's in a trash can. This doesn't make sense and shouldn't happen, especially since the LAPD sealed OJ's house after his arrest. If the police did indeed take the knife from the trash can, that would mean the police openly took the evidence. That's too bold. I suggest you go to OJ's house as soon as possible to confirm whether the knife is still there. Doctor, I was right. We can't do without you. I'll go now. Oh, wait a minute. I think it would be better if you went with Attorney Ullman. I understand. After Attorney Ullman confirmed that the folding knife mentioned by the knife store owner was indeed still in O.J. Simpson's house. To avoid contaminating the evidence, Attorney Ullman suggested heading straight to the Los Angeles court to inform the judge of the situation. With less than 3 hours left before the preliminary hearing, could this evidence prove O.J. Simpson's innocence in the preliminary hearing? Judge Ito, this is me. This is Robert Shapiro. We believe that the folding knife found in the trash can earlier is not the knife that O.J. bought from the knife store. It is still in his house. Do you have evidence? The preliminary hearing is about to start. Attorney Ullman personally confirmed it and will inform you of the situation in detail. Your Honor, I am O.J. Simpson's defense attorney, Ullman. Firstly, I would like you to watch a video. This is the footage of the LAPD entering O.J. Simpson's home. In the video, at this location, you can clearly see the knife, and we personally want to check before coming to court. The knife is still in O.J.'s house. But you understand, this knife is likely to be crucial evidence. If we touch it directly, we might be declared as witnesses and would no longer be able to continue as O.J.'s lawyer. Therefore, I can appoint a judge as a neutral legal custodian to obtain and oversee this knife. Your Honor, we have another request. Shapiro, you can say it directly. We would like the court to appoint a forensic expert to examine the folding knife found at Simpson's home. We believe that O.J. has never used this folding knife and that it has remained unopened since its purchase. All right, do you have any good recommendations? How about Dr. Lee Chang-yu? He's an expert in the field of forensic science and is also a public official. It would be appropriate for him to conduct the examination. Dr. Lee's forensic techniques are indeed trustworthy, but his examination this time is not for the defense, but as a neutral forensic scientist. Both you and he need to understand this, and I will inform the prosecution of this choice. If Prosecutor Marcia has no objections, I will personally contact Dr. Lee. Do you have any objections to this? No. Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding the examination of the knife, Dr. Lee Chang-yu himself had no objections and even expressed a strong desire to personally examine the knife as evidence. Therefore, Dr. Lee and his assistant Sam once again took a flight back to Los Angeles. What about the knife in the trash can? The stiletto brand knife that was purchased under the temptation of high media payments for clues. It is reported that the court appointed a forensic scientist to examine the knife. The process from the exposure of information about the knife purchased by O.J. Simpson, marking the appearance of the suspicious murder weapon, to the police confirming that the knife purchased by O.J. Simpson matched the type of the murder weapon, and then to the police fabricating information about the knife. Dr. Lee finding the real knife belonging to O.J. Simpson. The story of the murder weapon has been full of twists and turns, continuously capturing the attention of the American public and the media. Therefore, when the LAPD publicly announced that they had obtained the knife purchased by O.J. Simpson and decided to examine it as soon as possible, Various media outlets went to great lengths to gather information.